If you're getting married abroad or marrying a foreigner, please stop scrolling. This video is for you. Before you get married, you need to speak with a lawyer in the country where you will be getting married, because when you get married, you are essentially signing the prenuptial agreement laid out by the state, whatever country you're living in at the time. And if you do not get a specific prenuptial agreement, you're automatically agreeing to all of the little laws and nuances that are just kind of the standard in the country where you are currently living. And there have been so many horror stories of people going abroad, getting married, and not realizing that the laws are entirely different. Getting married is one of the biggest and most consequential contracts you will ever sign in your entire life. So much of it is around this, like, oh, we're just like uniting our lives together. It's beautiful, it's romantic, and it is all of those things. I love being married. It's been fantastic so far. But you might be shocked to learn what the marriage laws, what the custodial laws will be should you ever separate, what's going to happen with yours and his money should one of you die. There are so many little nuances that when you grow up in a country, you hear about and you kind of know what's coming. But when you're living abroad, the laws might be something you are completely opposed to. You had no idea. You need to know what's in that contract you are signing. And you might come and go see a lawyer and be like, oh yeah, I totally agree with all these laws, but at least you know what's in the contract you're signing. I would argue that even in America or Canada or other countries like that, where people have lived there their entire lives, they're not going abroad to get married, I would say most of the time they don't actually really know what they're signing. They have not read all the laws that apply to the marriage contract. Please do not sign contracts blind. I did not sign a prenup, but about a week or so before my wedding, I was in an immigration office and they had this huge poster on the wall, like emphatically encouraging couples that are from abroad or who are marrying a spouse from abroad to consider getting what they call a marital contract, because so many times when things happen, one of the spouses dies, a divorce happens, one of those two things will happen in your life, right? At one point, at least one of you is going to die. Maybe you both die at the same time, and this will not be a problem, but it's likely that one of you will die before the other. You might be shocked to learn what you signed in that contract. There's also a lot of countries that have very particular rules around what happens to children. Should there be a divorce? Should a child commit a crime? Well, now you're married and now you are engaging to take on the legal responsibility for those children. There's a whole bunch of things that change depending on which country you're in, and you should know what is in the contract you are signing. I've been lucky so far. Now we're in Canada, so the laws are entirely different. And I was just thinking the other day, I should really be looking into this. What are the inheritance laws? What are the laws about how divorce works? I don't ever want to get divorced. I hope it never happens. But I also don't ever want my husband to die. I hope that never happens. But reality is going to catch up with me one day. Hopefully not till I'm 99. But it could happen. And so you need to be legally prepared so you don't get taken for a ride. And some countries even have marriage laws that, depending on which country you're from, when you hear about it, you're going to be like, that's totally immoral. That's totally against everything. Like, no, I would never agree to that. But if you don't get a prenup or at least talk to a lawyer, you are legally signing a contract when you get married saying you agree to that. I would argue that even if you marry somebody from the country where you live, at least talking to a lawyer and figuring out what exactly you're legally agreeing to when you marry this person, that's a pretty smart idea. As a heads up, if you're marrying someone from France and you guys are going to live in France, the inheritance laws are really peculiar compared to the United States. They're not bad. It's morally neutral, just very, very, very different, and probably different than what most Americans are expecting. So it's good to at least know what you're getting into.